In 1982, a New York patient known only as Elliot underwent surgery that removed a walnut-sized tumor pressing into his orbitofrontal cortex, and neurologists still cannot fully explain how his IQ rose afterward while his ability to run his own life disappeared completely. He was in his 30s, a husband, a father, a rising executive at a firm in Manhattan. Before the surgery, coworkers described him as sharp, reliable, the kind of man who closed deals before lunch. The tumor was benign. The operation, by every surgical measure, was a success. The mass came out clean. The scans afterward showed healthy tissue. Elliot walked out of the hospital intact, talking, walking, remembering everything, seemingly himself. Doctors called it a full recovery. His family did not agree. Within a year, Elliot had lost his job, then a second job, then a third. He divorced. He drained his savings into a business a stranger talked him into over a weekend. Neuropsychologist Antonio Damasio, who later took his case at the University of Iowa, ran him through a full battery of tests: memory, language, logic, IQ. Elliot passed everyone. His scores were not just normal. They were superior to the population average. On paper, there was nothing wrong with him at all. The obvious theory was depression. A man loses his job, his marriage collapses, of course he seems adrift. Grief does that to anyone. Doctors treated him for mood disorders. Medications were tried. Colleagues assumed a slow psychological unraveling, the kind that follows any major life blow. It was the simplest explanation, and for a while it held. Then Damasio sat Elliot down with something smaller than a life decision: 2 dates for a follow-up appointment. Elliot could not choose. He listed the pros and cons of each with total clarity: traffic patterns, weather, scheduling conflicts, for nearly half an hour, arriving nowhere. This wasn't depression. A depressed man doesn't overanalyze a calendar date with detached, methodical precision. He simply doesn't want to get out of bed. Elliot wanted to. He just could not land on an answer on anything ever again, not a restaurant, not a parking spot, not which pen to sign a form with. Here is what makes it worse. Damasio wired Elliot to a skin conductance monitor, the same device used in polygraph tests, and showed him disturbing images: a burning building, a body, a flood. In a healthy brain, the skin responds instantly, a small electrical flicker before the conscious mind even registers alarm. Elliot's readings stayed flat. Nothing. He could describe the images in accurate clinical detail. He knew a burning building was tragic. He simply did not feel it happen inside him. The gut punch that ordinary people mistake for instinct, the flush of dread before a bad decision, the flicker of unease that stops you before you sign something you'll regret, had gone silent in him, and nothing in the scans could show where it went. Damasio proposed an answer: the somatic marker hypothesis. The theory holds that the orbitofrontal cortex tags memories and options with a bodily feeling, a marker, so that decisions get filtered before conscious reasoning even starts. Remove that region, the theory goes, and the filter disappears. You're left with pure, unweighted logic, endlessly calculating, never closing. It's an elegant answer. It is also, by Damasio's own admission, incomplete. Other orbitofrontal patients don't match Elliot at all. Phineas Gage, the 1848 railroad foreman whose case first pointed researchers toward this same region, became impulsive, foul-mouthed, and reckless after his injury. The opposite presentation, from damage in roughly the same territory. Some patients with comparable lesions show no personality change whatsoever. Some regain function years later with no clear reason why. fMRI studies since the 1990s have mapped activity in the region during decision-making tasks, confirming it lights up when people weigh risk. But they've never pinned down why identical damage produces a paralyzed man in one case and a reckless one in another. The marker theory explains a mechanism. It does not explain the person. Elliot lived the rest of his life on disability, intellect fully intact, unable to independently manage a single afternoon. He could describe, with total accuracy, every reason a decision mattered. He was one of the last people who could tell you what it feels like to reason perfectly and choose nothing. Researchers still study his case file today, decades later, trying to close the gap between what a damaged brain can compute and what it can no longer feel, and no one has explained where exactly a decision actually gets made.